Hi, in this video we are going to discuss about APT, the APT suite of tools, and we are going to get into some of the commands that constitute that suite of tools. So the first topic we are going to discuss about is the topic of installing. So the series of videos is going to mirror the videos that we had on DPKG. Okay, so the main thing that you will be able to do with a package installer, whether it's a package installer like DPKG that works only on one Debian file at a time, or a tool like the Apt Tools, which are capable to manage repository and so on and so forth, and manage package installation on your system as a whole. Whether you use one or the other, you are going to have mainly features about installing, features about removing package, and feature about obtaining information about package, managing them in the sense of searching for a specific package that you might want to install or that you have already installed. Okay, so we covered all of this with DPKG. Let's delve a little bit into Apt Tools now. So the first feature we're going to talk about is installation. The commands to allow you, the tool to allow you to manage installation with Apt is Apt-Get. So let's remove that uppercase here. That has been automatically added. The main things that you need to know about Apt-Get, I would say it's like 2 or 3 commands that you are going to use most of the time. So these are the ones that we are going to cover. So the first one, most intuitive, the one that people never have problem remembering about, is install. So install followed by a package name. Okay. So whatever package you want to install would be how you install a package with Apt-Get. When you are administrating your workstation, I really recommend that you use the Apt Tools in priority before to use anything like DPKG, for example. And this is because Apt is going to manage automatically the dependencies. If you try to install something with DPKG and for some reason it doesn't work because dependencies are not satisfied, for instance, the package is still going to be marked for installation. So that's because DPKG and Apt share the same, they administrate the same system pretty much to install package into. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to try to install something with DPKG, have it half installed, with a problem based on missing dependency, and then move to Apt-Get and try to do an Apt-Get install, only to be told that there is a problem with that specific package. If this happens, there is a very easy way that works most, meaning like 99.999% of the time, which is to ask Apt-Get to force an install of all pending package. So you will notice that I don't specify here a package name. Okay, I just use Apt-Get -F for force install, and that's going to attempt to resolve all the problems that have been left behind by a failed DPKG install due to lack of dependencies. Okay, so let's put that aside. Don't forget, every time you're using Apt-Get, okay, sudo, if you have an exam or quiz where you are asked to provide the command line to actually do one of those operations, I expect you fully to provide the full command line, okay, not just to give me Apt-Get or Apt-Get install, but if I ask you to install a specific package, I want to see the whole sudo Apt-Get install and the name of the package. Okay. All right. So let's put this in practice. Let's have a look at our console here. And with DPKG, we try to install different packages. What I'm going to try to install here is a package Pingus. Pingus is actually a game. Okay. It's a lemming-like game, so we are going to try to install it. So I'm going to do a sudo apt-get install Pingus. There we go. Type my password. And you can see here that before to install the package, it's going to give you some information about what is about to be done on your system. Alright, so besides the total disk space that's going to be used by this operation, by this installation, it's going to also tell you that some package suggested, some package will be installed that are not yet on your system. So you can see that in the case of Pingus, these would be the dependencies. Okay, Pingus data, for example, is all the information about the levels of that game. But then you can see also that we need a bunch of library for pretty much multimedia purposes that are going to have to be added to our system in order to run that game. Okay, so if everything sounds alright, looks alright to you, you're going to say yes, and the download is going to start. So we already talked about that. Okay, the difference between APT and a manager, APT Tools and a manager like DPKG, is that APT Tools are able to do the whole installation process for you. So they are capable to locate a package, they are capable to download it for you, they are capable to install it for you. So they do the whole chain of management that we talked about. And in addition, they also do the same thing as many times as needed recursively for each single dependency that the package requires. So we seem to have a little bit of trouble connecting, so I'm going to check into that, and I will resume this video when we have actually a connection working. Alright, so we had a little bit of problem with the network independent of this demonstration here. So I'm resuming this video here, and as you can see, Apt-Get, which was stuck right here after I said yes, I would like to download things, was able to reach actually the repository here, and you can see that it has been actually downloading, unpacking, installing different packages, different software packages, which are all part of actually the dependencies for this simple little game. Okay, so now that we have done this, we should be able to start the game. So there you go. We have the Pingus game fully installed and starting. So the performance is not great here because of the parameter of my virtualization. Anyway, the point of this video is not for me to play the game, but just to show you, that we are capable to install those packages. So that was the first option here, sudo apt-get install. I'm going to show you something interesting here. You might be wondering where those packages are being installed. Okay, so we are going to clear that out. There is a folder, slash here represents the root of your drive, pretty much, of your volume. So this is equivalent if you had a hard drive named ccolon on a Windows system, so that would be ccolon /, okay, the start of the drive, the root of the drive, the top level of the drive, if you want to call it that way. So we have a subfolder var cache, and we are going to discuss those in more detail, but for now I just want to show you something real quick. We have a subfolder apt, which appropriately enough is dedicated to the Apt Tools, and inside that folder we have a subfolder named archives. And if I do ls of that subfolder, you can see that this is where the Debian files, the Debian package files, the independent individual Debian package files are downloaded by apt-get. Okay, so you can see that we have here, we have Pingus data, we have all the libraries that were marked as dependencies that were not already installed on our base system. So all of this has been downloaded, extracted, installed, and you can see that now it's working just fine. As an interesting exercise, you might want to try to install Pingus as a DPKG, DPKG. So I already downloaded Pingus here. If you were trying to install it with sudo dpkg -- install and then the name of the package file, then you would get a list. I'm not going to do it, but you would get a list of dependencies that are unmet. Obviously now this package is already installed on our system, but it's interesting for you to just try to download the Pingus package with wget, as we have done in the DPKG videos, and try to install it before you actually try to install apt-get. Okay, when you do that, you are going to realize that it's not capable to complete the installation. Then when you try to use apt-get, you are going to bump into the problem that I was describing here, which is that you are going to have a package that is half installed. So when you start apt-get, apt-get is going to inform you that you have one package or many packages that are half installed on your system, and is going to offer you directly on the screen to type this command so that you can let it pretty much resolve that situation, or try to resolve that situation for you automatically. And that concludes pretty much the main apt-get installation options that you are going to use most of the time. Now I'm going to mention two other options. Sudo, always sudo because we are installing software, right? apt-get update. Sudo apt-get update is there to help your apt-get tool, your apt suite of tools, be aware, be updated regarding the latest version of package available on the repositories it's managing. Okay? So the first thing you might be curious about is where are those repositories that apt is managing, that apt-get is using to download things from. Well, there is a file again, a configuration file /etc, so a different directory there. And if I remember correctly, this is going to be apt, and this is going to be source. There we go, source.list. So we are going to just take a peek. I'm not going to teach you the syntax of this file. This is something that is more relevant when you administrate your station than when you are actually a user on it. But let's take a look, let's take a peek at this text file. So you see a lot of command lines, okay? Command lines start with a pound sign. And then you have like a very simple syntax here to specify name of repositories, okay? And you specify whether you are looking for Debian packages, so installer packages, or Debian source packages, which are the Debian package for a software, a piece of software that contain actually the source, the entire source of the software, so you can rebuild it yourself. And you can see that this is pretty much how this file is going to work. So sometime you might have to add over repository, like you can see that we have a main repository here that is usarchive.ubuntu.com/ubuntu. But we have also a repository security.ubuntu.com, and we can add different various repositories like extra.ubuntu.com and so on and so forth that are going to allow you to pull your software package from different sources. And this is completely transparent. Once you have actually updated this configuration file, and this is something that, again, we're going to cover in the follow-up Linux courses in our track, where we delve a little bit more into system administration. But once you have informed the apt tools that you have a new repository available, then you will be able to use all the apt tools that we are going to discuss to automatically pull software from there, install it, remove it, etc., update it. So sometime when you add a new repository to that list, or simply when you want to make sure that you're going to download the latest versions, that you're aware of all the new release on all of your repositories, you need to do sudo apt-get update. Okay, so update is not installing per se software on your machine. It's something that you need to understand and pay attention to, because the word update itself is somewhat confusing. Okay, it makes some student fall in a trap every semester by which they believe that this is going to update the entire system. No, it's simply updating the apt cache, the information that is cached actually by apt about all the repositories it's supposed to work with. And you can see here that I run an apt-get update. Okay, nothing got installed. Okay, it's just a matter of contacting all those repositories, making sure we have the latest list of everything they have to offer in a simplified view. So there is, however, a command that goes often hand in hand with apt-get update. It's apt-get upgrade. Okay, so pay attention to the difference. You know that already update is not doing what most people would think it does, which is updating your system. No, it's updating the apt cache, the information that the apt tools manage about the repositories they handle. And apt-get upgrade is going to say, I want to upgrade all of the packages installed on my system to the latest version. Okay, so you would just issue a sudo apt-get upgrade. So this is automatically going to look at all the packages you have installed, and is going to actually put them as the latest version available in the set of repositories that you have specified in that configuration file /etc/apt/sources.list. Okay, so we are going to try this command just to show you how it looks, what it does. So sudo apt-get upgrade. So apt is, as indicated here really briefly, calculating the upgrade. So it's looking at all the packages that need to be updated. And this is a fresh install of Ubuntu, so you can see that there is quite a lot here that needs to be upgraded. So you can review, inspect manually, you know, the package that are going to be upgraded. And if you are okay with upgrading all of this, you're going to say yes. So we're going to let that run in the background. And while it proceeds with the upgrade, I'm going to mention a few things that we are not going to explore in this video, but if you are like I said, if you continue in our Linux track and you take the more system administration oriented course, you will deal with those aspects of package management. So let me just go ahead and mention them right now. When you are upgrading like that a system, an entire system, sometimes there are packages that you want to pin down, to hold back. So this is possible. This is the main information I want to pass to you right now. I'm doing a blind upgrade here. I'm saying pretty much I want to upgrade everything that can be upgraded. So I have the latest version of every piece of software. But if you find yourself working on a project where you need a specific version of the library in order to compile a specific version of a tool and so on and so forth, and you don't want those versions to be automatically upgraded because they would somehow break the rest of the project you're working on, it's totally feasible. So the Apt suite of tools allows you to pin down packages, allows you to prevent them from being upgraded, in a way protect them from being upgraded. All of this is more in the realm of features that you will use when you are actually perform system administration duties on a workstation or a server. So we're not going to go into more detail there, but I still want you to know that those features exist and are available. So right now what we're going through an update of all the packages that were mentioned as being pretty much out of date. So this is something that you can perform by hand like we are doing right now. And again, if you are interested in going further in the system administration aspects, this is something that you can perform automatically. Okay, you can perform it automatically, and I'm going to type the name of that tool here. This is something that you would perform automatically if you wish to with something called the cron tab. Okay, the cron command, and something here. Okay, sudo apt-get update. It's not unusual to automate this. Now, on a Ubuntu desktop, for example, you are going to have another tool that's going to interact with you. It's called the updater, software updater, I think, and it's going to show generally up at the right top of your desktop in the icon trays. It's going to open by itself automatically every once in a while and offer you to download to upgrade some packages. Okay, well, this tool is going to pretty much do an update, an apt-get update for you regularly in the background, and it's going to do an apt-get install of all the packages that you select, or if you select all the package, it's going to do the equivalent of apt-get upgrade. So for a casual desktop user, this is a great tool because it shows you automatically, what might be out of date, but you don't control necessarily the interval at which those checks are made, especially if you are completely casual end user. But if you are a little bit more of an advanced user, you might want to automate those kind of tasks, using cron tab again. A little bit of sysadmin there, or by issuing, the sudo apt-get update and upgrade the tools by hand yourself when you want to make sure that your system is up to date. It's a very good idea when you are using a virtual machine like VirtualBox to actually take a snapshot of your virtual machine before to do that kind of operation. Okay, so to take a snapshot of your virtual machine is very easy. I'm going to just show you where to locate it. Okay, so let's make this window a little smaller. You have a machine menu here, and you have take snapshot. Okay, so you can take a snapshot of your machine, and the beauty of it is that if you break something by doing a blind blind apt-get upgrade, you will be able to actually revert back to your previous state, to the previous state of your virtual machine. So you'll be able to pretty much resume before you did that actually installed that caused problem. So it's a very good idea to take a snapshot before, I would say, to do any major upgrade on your system. Okay, so typically apt-get update is not a problem, but apt-get upgrade is certainly something that you need to be careful about. So I just did a time lapse for a few minutes, about 10 minutes here, during which the upgrade installation went through. So you can see that we downloaded a lot of software. Then the next phase was setting up the software, configuring the software, etc. So everything has been upgraded pretty much for you. So there is one last command that I would like to mention now. So let's go back here. So we have sudo apt-get update, which is pretty much updating the information apt has from the repository you're using, so index, if you will. upgrade, which is taking every already installed package and actually upgrading it to the latest release. And then we have sudo apt-get dist dash upgrade in one word. Okay, and this is also well, I was going to say this is something that you might want to automate with crontab, but this one is a little bit more tricky. As I've mentioned already, apt-get upgrade is only upgrading existing software on your system to the latest available version, to the latest release. Okay, well, apt-get dist upgrade is going one step further insofar that apt-get dist upgrade is trying to actually upgrade everything in your system, okay, but in doing so it is allowed to install new software component. Okay, and this is a very critical difference. The name itself, dist upgrade, comes from distribution upgrade, and it would historically it was used when you wanted to switch from one release of it started with Debian originally, where Apt Tools come from. So from one release of Debian to the next major release of Debian. So in our terms, that would be like us switching from the current LTS long-term support release of Ubuntu, which at the time of this recording is 14.04, to the next long-term support release of Ubuntu, or to the next latest release of Ubuntu. Okay, generally that kind of upgrade involves switching repositories. That means that your repositories are pointing to a specific release of Ubuntu in our case. Well, when the next release of Ubuntu becomes available, that next release has its own repository, generally hosted on the same servers but in a different subfolder. So you would have to update your etc/sources.list file to point it to a new directory, pretty much on your repository server. And then you would do a dist upgrade to integrate all of this. And now we allow the upgrade process to install new software package that were not necessary before this upgrade. So this is much more, how to say, far-reaching than an upgrade. Okay, so it's definitely recommended that you do a snapshot of your VM before to do that. The good news about this upgrade system is that because it handles arguably a problem that is a little bit more difficult, it also has actually a smart way of doing so. If there are any potential conflicts between your package, it's going to always prioritize packages that are more essential to your system before other packages. So that allows it to resolve, I would say, most of the issues that you would have during such an upgrade if you were trying to do it by hand. Okay, so if you use different front ends like Synaptic, Aptitude, etc., you have this option too. Sometimes it's referred to as a smart upgrade for that reason, because it just doesn't, update every package. It actually goes further than that and resolve potential problem with that. So you might find it under a different name, but the principle is the same. This is a dist upgrade, a distribution upgrade. So I'm not going to run it, but this is exactly the same principle. Okay, apt-get dist upgrade. Okay, and then it would ask you for your password, of course, and then it would present you with a list of what would be done after calculating the upgrade. So you can see here, and that's the reason for which I still typed it here. You can see that even though we did an update, okay, an upgrade, sorry, even though we did a full upgrade of our system, when we want to do a dist upgrade, there are things that could still be upgraded. Okay, and you can see here from the list that it has to do with the Linux kernel itself in this case. Okay, and a library here. So again, make sure that you snapshot your VM before to do a full upgrade, before to do a full dist upgrade. For the purpose of this course, I really recommend that you do not actually upgrade your Linux kernel. And this is simply because sometimes when you upgrade your Linux kernel, the new version is not, the new image is not going to be compatible with the guest add-ons that we installed. Okay, you remember when we installed guest add-ons, they compiled something called the LKM loadable kernel module. So those LKM are actually tuned to the version of the kernel you are using. If you upgrade your kernel, suddenly those may become obsolete or incompatible, so you would have to reinstall the guest edition. If you reinstall the guest edition, you have to wait for Oracle to release a new a new package of guest addition. That means that they need to update their VirtualBox release. So if there are a few days between the release of a latest kernel, some people finding incompatibilities, and finally Oracle generating the necessary updates, if there are a few days, then these are a few days during which you are going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck with a screen that's not resizable, that doesn't use anything more than, I think, 1024 by 768. That's really not practical to work in. Okay, so you may always try the updates and the upgrades if you want, but just make sure that you have a snapshot that you can revert to if something goes wrong. Okay, and ask for help if that happens to you. Okay, and we are pretty much done. Let me double check our checklist here. We are pretty much done with all the apt installation commands that I wanted to cover. So thank you for listening.